Hey everybody, it's only Becky. What have I got here in my hot little hands? Well, that would be a book. It's a children's book, and it was written by the husband of a woman that I've been following for years. There was my cat up there. It used to be called A Young Wife's Guide, but she recently rebranded to Finding Joy in Your Home. It's an excellent resource for homemakers, no matter how old you are. Women of all ages could learn from her. Anyways, her husband wrote a children's book. She and her husband and their children have taken off on this amazing adventure to visit all of the national parks in the United States. And her husband wrote a children's book about their experiences, but he kind of fictionalized their family. So it's like, it doesn't use their actual names, it just uses made up names and stuff, but it's pretty similar to their experiences. And let me tell you, this is a really good book. It's called The Sterling Spectacles. The family's name is Sterling. When they get to Yosemite National Park, two of the boys meet this stranger. He's not a scary stranger, but he gives them these spectacles. They go on all kinds of adventures, and it's really good. And we read it aloud to my boys. We did not read it all in the same day because, it's a book. So we didn't read it all in the same day. Whenever we stopped, my middle son was like, what? Because we stopped at a very exciting part. But I wanted to get halfway through it. We read half of the book in one day and half of the book in another day. My middle son was like, what? It was pretty funny. A really good thing about this book, though, is that it teaches you about Yosemite National Park without being like teachy about it. Because you know how some things can be really boring for little kids? For example, I printed this off of the Yosemite National Park website, and it's about some of the architecture. I'm going to read it to you now so that you can be educated, right? Many of Yosemite's properties are significant for their rustic architecture. In fact, Yosemite can be said to be the birthplace of the NPS rustic architecture style. The first NPS landscape design office was established at Yosemite in 1920. This office conducted planning, design, and design review of all Western parks. It was here that the first NPS designers developed a unique style specifically for park structures. Now, while that might sound interesting to adults, kids are like, so this book is way more fun. Let me read you a little excerpt from the book. This is on page 12. Now, the page numbers will obviously be different because this is a PDF when you actually buy the book, but this is page 12. So they're in a room that has a whole bunch of life-size statues to teach you about the different animals and plant life in Yosemite. William and Wilder were immediately taken with a large mountain lion. Looking at the sign near the mountain lion display, Mr. Sterling said, "This says that mountain lions, also called cougars, panthers, or pumas, are a common and natural part of the Yosemite area." Titus elbowed Theo in the ribs and said, "Maybe we'll see one." Theo grinned. "That would be awesome." So it gives you little tidbits of information about Yosemite National Park, but it's not like boring and teachy about it. It'll just give you a little snippet and then it'll give you some fun. And it's that way throughout the whole book. You learn a lot about Yosemite National Park throughout this book, but it's not like boring learning. So what happens in the book is this family, there are two sets of twins, which are all boys, and then there's a little girl, and then there's another little boy, which is how it is in their family in real life. And I think it's so fun that they modeled the book family after their real family. They're going on this adventure to Yosemite National Park. The boys meet two of the boys, the older boys, meet this stranger who gives them some spectacles and tell them that only they can save the national parks. So this is going to be like an ongoing series of books, hopefully about all the national parks. That would be cool. They put the spectacles on and they can see strange things. I'm not going to tell you about the whole book, obviously, because I want you to read it, but it is so fun, you guys. So many weird things happen. They can walk through solid rock. Time seems to be paused at some point in time. It is really an imaginative and adventurous book, and I really think that your kids will like it. And it is not for sale yet. I believe they said somewhere around August 10th. This is August 3rd? They said somewhere around August 10th it should be available for pre-sale. So whenever it's available for pre-sale, I'll put a link in the description. But right now I don't have any further information about it. So When I get some, I'll put it in the description box. There's going to be some illustrations. They talk about a topographical map. They just call it a bumpy map, which I think is funny because, I mean, they're little kids. I said, wouldn't it be cool? One of my suggestions, because I was in the beta group to read this book, one of my suggestions was to illustrate the topographical map, because I think that it would be easier for little kids to understand if there was a picture of it. Sorry for a short video today, but there have been so many things going on. But I really recommend that you get this book for your kids. I really think they're going to love it, and it would be a great way to introduce national parks to them. And how fun would it be if you had a trip to Yosemite coming up and you were able to read this book first, and then you could point out all the sites and your kids could be like, hey, that was in the book we read. That would be really fun. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.